Hey there, neighbors and naysayers. June 21st, 2025. Hey, I did a video this morning with sheep, and I'm happy to report that I just finished sorting rams all by myself. Never fired a shot, never laid a hand on them. Just did it with body positioning and gate closing, and I don't have gates around here, so it was panels swinging. Good shot, a little leany there. It's amazing when you can do that. I got to take my son through that tomorrow and show him what I did. People wouldn't believe it if I told them that I didn't have to do all the things that you normally have to do to make things sort. Unfortunately, I can do it best alone, and it's hard to teach people when you're alone. I clicked the button really before. There's a funny other end running, but several thoughts. I've had the incidents in the last couple of weeks to see a bunch of squabbling on Facebook over grain-fed versus grass-fed, and I want to talk about that a minute, but I don't know why these people do this. I want to talk about ideas. Squabbling about that's like squabbling over, I don't know, it's worse than politics as far as I'm concerned, and I get into politics, but I see this thing go around on Facebook all the time that simple people talk about other people, smart people talk about ideas, and there's a third one or a middle one in there, and I don't remember what it is. But does it irritate me to hear to talk about grass-fed versus grain-fed, and you got all these cardboard cowboys on there saying, "Oh, grain-fed, grain-fed," and I'm sure we're, like Baxter Black used to say, you ever try to have a reasonable conversation with these people, you're not, because they're as not narrow-minded as we are. And that's obviously true. My big thing is, it's all about fat. It's all about cover. It's all about gain. It's all about all those things. And the people that raise cattle and say that they can't finish cows on grass don't have pasture, as far as I'm concerned. Like if you're really talking about it, they don't have pasture. They don't manage their pastures. Yeah, they're basically on a glorified exercise lot, and that's it. I guess this steer right here, he ain't done yet. We got a while yet. The steer behind him got a whole bunch of frame. He's got a while to go. The heifer behind that is getting closer, and she's going to finish faster because she's that age. The one with the horns in red, this black heifer looking at me right here, big old ball on her brisket. She's done. She's where she needs to be. We've talked about this a bunch of times. She's going here in July. About my trip to the butcher shop and loading steers next to a county fair steers, and of course a dumb cow walks in front, you can't even see the other calf, but she didn't have as much fat in her tail head, I guess, as I want her to, but she's not going to get much better than that. And I know she's not a show steer, she's not fancy, she's not a bunch, she's going to weigh 450, 500 hanging. I know that she's not as fat and soggy as they want those show steers, but I've told the story, My steers went in right next to the Medina County Fair steers, and I thought, oh God, we're going to get killed. Our steers aren't going to cut, they're going to be tough, they're going to not have fat. We brought those steers home. It was the best eating experience we ever had. I mean, fat and right and where they need to be. It's come to my attention that those big fat steers, we call them garbage can steers, because most of them's going to end up in the garbage can. And you can say, well, they're going to sell that to somebody. Yeah, well, you ain't going to make the money on that. It costs money to put fat on, and it costs money to throw it away. It costs you money because you had to put the fat on. And then you don't get nothing out of it because that butcher's going to sell it to somebody else unbeknownst to you. Anyway, I don't have, and I am not anti. Listen, if you want to grain feed your steers, by all means. If you got customers that want to buy grain fed steers, great. Wonderful. I have no problem with that at all. I have a little bit of problem with how it's done, but that's, hey, to each their own. I have the same problem with large scale confinement chickens and hogs too. It's just the way that it is, and I know that we can't feed the world if it's not that, and I'm not a person who likes to feed the world. I like to feed my customers, and that's it. Not that I don't care about the world, I just have customers that want to pay for it. But why do we keep having these dumb arguments? We got to the point where I don't even pay attention to it. I just don't. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my gas. It's not worth anything. Listen, I want to talk about ideas. I want to talk about grazing. I want to talk about where you are and what you're doing and how you're doing it and what you're seeing and what I'm seeing and all those things. My customers want to buy grass-fed stuff. That's what I know. That's what I'm going to make money on. I'm not making money on putting something in somebody else's pocket that's going to grain finish them for me. All right, with that, I mean, we'll talk about this grain finish versus grass-fed. And this is here again, that selective versus non-selective. It looks like what we're doing here is non-selective. But really what we're doing is way selective grazing. We're just non-selective in our pattern, I guess, is the way I describe it. We are grazing and they're taking what they want. You see them walking up and down these runs. They're walking up and down, they're picking out things they want to eat. And then I'm going to move them again here in 10 minutes because a paddock mess up. I built the wrong fences for the right days, or the right paddocks for the wrong days or something. So I got to give them this much again to get them through the night time. But I wanted to let them be in here for a minute. But they're picking out what they want, and what they don't want, they're trampling. That's grass finished stuff. That's finished level gains we're putting on these animals. And in the meantime, we're also being non-selective in the way we're grazing it. We're knocking everything down, but we're only putting good stuff in. This is the problem I have with that non-selective grazing, is that if we're making them eat every single thing and eating it down to the dirt, they're eating a whole bunch of crap they didn't want to eat, and a whole bunch of crap that's not finishing quality. It's not going to get us where we need to be. And the argument can be made, well, we'll keep cows that will do it. If you like Coriannies, go for it. If you like Longhorns, go for it. If you like skinny, scrawny, and I'm here to tell you that my cows are skinnier and scrawnier than they've ever been coming out of a drought. I mean, we're feeding the crap out of them here with good quality stuff. And on top of that, we've got a lot of Holstein in our stuff. So there's a lot of, from our old ex-dairy heifer raising days. So they're thinner. I know that. We're working on that. But this is non-selective grazing or selective grazing in a non-selective package. We're still trampling everything. We're still putting it back to the soil. We're just not bearing the surface in the process. The last thought, I guess, today, we started mowing hay. And as I thought about it, you know, that 35 acres that we made are mowing today, tomorrow, it's stuff that we could graze it with a little bit of talking to the landowner. And I think, man, if I could show him what I got here compared to what they got there, that'd be a hell of a difference. And so I started thinking about it, you know. So to get through 60 days of grazing, we need 60 days of hay feeding. We need about 60 ton, maybe 80 ton. That farm over there produces about 40 ton. Over here, to make 60 ton, we need about 30 acres. We can take 30 acres here and move the cows over there, get 30 acres of grazing. And someday, when we build it up to what this is right here, then we've completed the system. Then we've created enough hay on our farms and our rented farm. We can mow 30 acres of the pasture every year to turn back, which would be 1/4 roughly of the pasture, to turn back to hay and be fed right back in the same field. And that's where we're going to have regenerative. If you watched my video this morning, I talked about the jokers making hay right now, and it bothers me. I mean, I'm one of them. We're one of them right now, and I don't want to be forever, but we're takers. You know, we take, and don't ever put back, and I don't want to be there forever. There's a point where we got to, you know, that's how businesses are built. I mean, you got to find something and exploit it for a minute, but then you eventually got to turn around and you got to put stuff back into it. And rather than putting fertilizer and lime and everything into it, I'd much rather put my effort into grazing and regenerating it that way than I would lining somebody else's pocket. I can make money while I'm doing it. That's the key here. I don't know how we can't get other people to see it. Maybe we'll get there. I mean, it bothers me. It bothers me. It obviously bothers other people. I got a quote on my wall from a really world-renowned grazer saying that the one thing that surprised him the most was that the adaptation has taken so long. But that'll say. We'll see you next time.